This arrangement really stems from the four elements of nature: earth, air, fire, and water. I really wanted to be able to show you guys that I could bring floristry into the future, even though I have roots in a very traditional sense, and I wanted you to see that.
The Texas State Florist Association has just long valued you as a member. You're a former Texas Designer of the Year, and so your talents have certainly been acknowledged and awarded in Texas. So congratulations on this newest adventure with your participation on Full Bloom. It's got to have been super exciting, and I'm just sure you're over the moon excited with the experience. I want to hear a little bit about it. Tell me.
It's a dream come true. It really is. It feels very surreal. And I have to say, I'm so happy to share it with my Texas family. Not only am I a Texas designer on the show, there's two other Texas designers on the show. You know, Texas State has always been like coming home for me. It's where I learned so much and had my first exciting experience competing. And I got to do it with my mentor, Kobe Neal. So, I mean, there's a lot of great memories with Texas State and a lot of great memories with this show.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, many of us have seen you in Full Bloom. They've now aired 4 episodes, so it just gets more exciting by the minute. What was it like during those very first days on the show?
So the very first few days of filming, you're kind of getting your feet wet. I mean, I've never been on a set like this before, and it was the real deal. I mean, we were out at one of the most premier filming locations in Southern California. It's Hummingbird Ranch, and the amount of professionals and equipment and just everything that goes into filming a production of this stature and size was a little bit overwhelming. But, you know, we got wardrobe and hair and makeup, and, you know, so you do feel a little bit special going into it. And then as you start to film more and more, you kind of get into a routine of it, and it starts to feel normal, which maybe isn't so good, because then you're gonna have to come back to reality at some point. But it's super exciting. It was just a thrill.
I imagine it was an incredible journey already. And as these varying challenges presented, why don't you take us through how each of those added to your experience on the show?
So just meeting the judges and the cast for the first time, I mean, that's an experience in and of itself. And you don't get to see all of those nuances off camera. We really had a wonderful cast, and we all bonded right away. It was great to, like I said, have a couple of people that I knew that were on the cast, because it really just helped me settle in and feel more comfortable and confident. But, you know, we were all there to win. And you can see it on all of our faces, even our passion for floristry, our passion for design, and our passion for competing.
Mm-hmm. That is so, so exciting. So you've got to tell us, what has been your favorite part of the journey thus far in the series? I know you can't have any spoiler alerts, but just, you know, tell us a little bit about your favorites.
My favorite thing was the insane amount of product and the insane size of some of these floral installations that we got to do. I mean, never in a million years, you know, so spoiler alert here a little bit, but that first episode with the giant Van Gogh painting, I mean, I still get goosebumps and just thinking about walking up to that gigantic canvas and knowing that we were going to flower it in 4 hours. So for me, you know, those moments of kind of walking into not knowing exactly what we were going to be given as a challenge, not knowing what flowers we were going to be given, only really knowing who was on our team coming in, those moments of just anticipation, they were really my favorite part.
I bet it was exhilarating. I mean, I cannot imagine walking in, not knowing what you're going to do, what you're going to have to work with, and just having to jump in and get it done, and what had to have seemed like a moment in time. That Van Gogh challenge, it was incredible.
And it really was 4 hours, Lynn, 4 hours, and over a 20 to 30 foot canvas. Absolutely insane, but so much fun to do, so much work. I mean, we were all a sweaty mess. And part of me loves that it's showcasing really what happens behind the scenes. We're carrying, I mean, flowers are about water and heavy things and oasis. And, these are heavy things that we're dealing with, and, lifts and machinery and all this kind of stuff. And so I really am glad that we're showing the world what all it takes to accomplish these feats behind the scenes.
I'm so thrilled that you're a part of it, and kudos to HBO Max for really bringing the show to life and making it happen. I have a question for you, in that as a former Texas Designer of the Year, which is a multiple challenge process, certainly nothing to the extent of these, but certainly things that you have to kind of walk through. Did having competed before help you in any way as you
Absolutely.
work through these challenges?
Absolutely. Until you really step into that first moment of competition, you never really know what it feels like inside. And everybody reacts differently. So having that practice of competing, even doing the AIFD test, the PFDE, all of those things really come together to give you that confidence to go on TV and do something like this. Because you put yourself in that experience before, it just makes it like, it's almost like flipping a light switch. Okay, it's time to compete. What is my task? What am I going to do? Just getting creative with what you're going to do. And sometimes things don't always work out. And you have to think fast on your feet, and you have to allow yourself some flexibility to make changes within your design. And just know that when you're competing, you're putting yourself out there. And not everybody's super comfortable with that. The more you do it, the more comfortable you'll get, and you're always going to be vulnerable. But I definitely recommend to anybody who is wanting to take a path towards anything remotely like this. Maybe it's not for a TV show, but you want to get into competing just to strengthen your design skills and how quickly you can think on your feet. Then you should enter every design competition you can. And certainly if you're in Texas, you have to do the Texas Cup.
I think so too. It's certainly a way to expand your education. And you have long been a proponent of education. I know now you're teaching, and that is super exciting for all of us to hear about. But you are a Texas Master Florist. You are an accredited member of the American Institute of Floral Designers. So was there any one or more challenges that you maybe thought later, because I know in the moment there wouldn't have been time, but was there ever a challenge that you thought later, boy, I'm glad I've had some of this education, because I really went back to a place, it came to me naturally, but I went back to a place where I've learned something along the way?
I definitely think that every challenge that we had, I draw upon that knowledge. And now I had, this is just, being very candid. I had to be very careful too, because there's new ways of doing things that aren't necessarily something that we teach in the principles and elements of design that the general population and people like to see. So I had to make sure that I wasn't, not thinking about new ways of exploring and only thinking about older ways of exploring. And that was where my fun and growth came into the show.
Right. But that's one thing I have to say, having known you for so long, you have always been one to be open to new ideas, trying new things, staying on top of new trends. That's just really part of who you are. And I certainly saw that in watching you on the show, those first 2 episodes, just how you applied much of that to your work. So it's exciting just to watch that and see it unfold and see it happen.
And I was really inspired by the other designers because everybody brought something different to the table. We have, people who are very avant-garde and artists and just all walks of life. And I learned something from each and every one of them. And I think that's one of the things that makes floristry so special, is that our journey is never over. We always have the opportunity to learn more and to add more into our repertoire and to figure out new ways of presenting the art form of what we do.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that that is one thing that is so incredibly special about this industry is always that willingness to share. And yeah, I was curious that as you were on the show and you were working with these other incredible 9 designers, I'm sure there were tips and techniques and a new way of doing something that you learned from them. So is there anything like particular in mind that you might want to share about that?
Oh, sure, absolutely. I think, you know, thinking about the way things will look on camera is not always the way that we're used to designing, because we have our designs right in front of us, right? And what we see is a little bit of foam showing, or we have a little hole there. But in the whole scheme of things, and especially as we start to get into big installation work, you really have to step way, way back in order to see what it is that the camera sees and what is being presented. And I think a lot of times we get too fixated on little tiny details for some of these larger pieces that it's really not necessary. You're stepping back and looking at the whole big picture. So that was something that I really learned on this journey for sure. And then just the willingness to be playful and keep searching deeper and deeper for whatever is, I mean, when you're stepping out of your comfort zone, that's the place where you grow. So for me, that's what I got from the other contestants too. Everybody was there really a sponge, just wanting to learn, wanting to grow, and of course, wanting to win the $100,000.
That was certainly an incredible prize for HBO Max to offer, and certainly a wonderful goal to reach towards. But I could tell everybody was just sharing and learning and just having fun while
it was a blast
doing that. So
it was an absolute blast. And I really, even little stories, watching the cameramen and the sound people enjoy the flowers and want to take some of the extra ones home, and just really being blown away by the art of flowers that they never really got to experience before. That's also a huge thrill of the show too, for me, was seeing that behind the scenes.
I imagine it was. Well, I know Full Bloom has truly opened the world to unlimited possibilities with flowers. And how do you see these possibilities making a difference as our industry moves forward?
Flowers are for everyone, Lynn. They're not just for a seasoned floral designer. God put them on this earth for all of us to enjoy. And flowers bring so much joy to every moment that they're enhancing, no matter what it is. If we're making a TV show, if it's a funeral, a wedding, if you just have some in your home at your bedside table, the flowers are there for everybody to enjoy. And I think that's what this show brings to the table. It gives easy tips and tricks for people to enjoy doing flowers themselves. It lets you see what a true professional is capable of doing. And so there's moments when hiring a professional to create that emotion and sentiment in your arrangement is absolutely necessary. I think that lets people know that. And I also think that there's moments when it's perfectly wonderful for people to just pick up flowers at the grocery store and enjoy them in their home. So all of it to me is about the joy that flowers bring and the comfort that they bring in every single moment that they're present.
Well, I think you have stated that so well, because flowers are there available for all to enjoy, and it truly encompasses this whole idea of unlimited possibilities. And I know you're sharing some of those unlimited possibilities in the new business that you started. So we'd love to hear just a little bit about that, because
I'm so excited. Yes, back to my passion of designing and educating myself and helping others, and just exposing people to flowers more. So my new business is Flower the Moment. And flowering the moment, I think I kind of just described to you what that really means to me. And it's bringing flowers as an enhancement to every moment that's possible. But we have a little bit of something for everybody at Flower the Moment. There's everything from workshops and teaching, freelancing, also to products that I'm selling online that are just for the everyday person. So there's a little bit for everybody. Of course, my heart is always with my fellow florists and my fellow floral designers. You know, I'll be going and teaching at a shop in Louisiana soon, doing a hands-on intensive for some employees at a shop. So really, they're all specialty moments that I'm creating for my clients. And all they have to do is get in touch with me and we'll come up with something that meets their needs.
That's so exciting. We just wish you the absolute best there. We are thrilled to have shared this time with you and would love to know anything and everything you'd like to share about how your journey is going to continue moving forward through these moments with flowers.
Thanks, Lynn. And I think, a lot of people have asked, how do we watch? And they don't really know that HBO Max is a new streaming platform. It's like Netflix, but it's not Netflix. So you subscribe real easily. People can get a week for free when they subscribe. And it's $14.99 a month. So, I mean, it's totally worth it. If you're a florist and you have not tuned into this yet, maybe it's time to binge some episodes over Thanksgiving.
I would encourage our friends to do so. All of those, whether you're a professional floral designer or just someone that absolutely loves flowers. Full Bloom is a show that's truly not to be missed. And as Beth shared, it's super easy to do. You just go on HBO Max, very affordable, and take some time this holiday season to take a look at it. I think it'll be something well worth your time and something well enjoyed. And Beth O'Reilly, Texas is so proud of you, a former Texas Designer of the Year and a longtime supportive member of Texas State Florist Association. We wish you well. We wish you all the best in your endeavors and a very happy holiday season with your family. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Lynn. Thanks for having me.
We are looking for technique, design, wow factor.
Skills will be put to the test like never before.
One of you will win $100,000!